This is a handmade cat bowl, and these are free bowls that came with my cat. And here is a story on how I built the most comfortable and expensive cat bowl ever made. My cat and I have back problems. I hunch over my cheap plastic chair, so I got a really nice ergonomic chair instead. My cat Calvin also hunches over his cheap plastic food bowl. Calvin, you gotta smack the bowl like this. So he threw it away and I got to work creating a custom bowl just for my cat. First, we need to take measurements to figure out the ideal height of the bowl. Especially since Calvin is a big boy and eats a lot, we need to make sure that the bowl was sized properly. I did a quick test and found that 3 to 4 inches was the perfect height to be comfortable, and then after that we started the design process. I wanted to design a large heavy base because I noticed that Calvin was pushing his food bowl around, and I created a shallow large plate on top so that he could easily eat from it. I ended up making the top detachable later so it would be easy to clean. And then I learned about something called whisker fatigue, so I made sure that the bowl was wide enough to prevent that. The idea for this project started about 2 years ago when we first got Calvin. I decided back then that I wanted to make the bowl out of high quality clay because ceramic is a non-toxic, food safe, and extremely durable material. I took beginner pottery lessons before I was confident enough with the basics to tempt my bowl, and the total cost of the lessons was about $205 and the clay and tools were another $50. And then I got a studio membership that cost me about $100 a month, and it actually took me longer than I thought to get to a point where I was happy with my results. So now, about a year and a half later now, since I got my membership, I started to actually be able to draw large bowls like this. It's still a little bit wobbly, as you can see. But I got really good at throwing smaller plates, so I'm kind of blasting through the small plate here, which I'm making sure it is wide and shallow to account for his whiskers. And this was pretty easy to do, and I was happy with the results. Oh, and this brown colored clay that I'm using right now is actually going to turn into a beautiful black color once it's fired on later. After letting the clay dry for a few days, I started to trim, and this is one of the more satisfying parts of making a pottery bowl. However, it does get a little bit sketchy sometimes. As you can see here, when I was trimming the large bowl, I almost lost it. That would have been a disaster as it would have required me to completely start from the beginning again, but fortunately, it survived and I was able to trim the rest of this big base as well. Here I am cutting into the base using a wire tool. This will allow the bowl to sit on top at a comfortable angle for Calvin. Finally, I'm stamping the clay with my potter's mark, which is actually a picture of Calvin's paw that I 3D printed into a stamp. And now for the final result, presenting the ergonomic bowl. Calvin approved of the bowl and it was a huge success, and I love how it matches his kibble feeder. If you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing and leave a comment on whether you like the ASMR type of videos better or this type of style. Thank you.